My name is Lexi Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about inflated responsibility cognitions and anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders are some of the most commonly diagnosed mental health disorders in the United States and have been well studied in the literature. One specific area of this anxiety research has focused on the cognitive components that underlie anxiety. While a number of frequently occurring cognitive distortions, such as catastrophizing, all or none thinking, overgeneralization, have been identified in the empirical literature, this list may not necessarily be exhaustive. Specifically, an inflated sense of responsibility to prevent or avoid negative consequences has been found to be a central dysfunctional cognition in the obsessive compulsive disorder literature, but has been understudied in anxiety disorders. Inflated responsibility is technically defined as an irrational sense of accountability and duty that is related to an adverse situation or outcome. And while understudied, it's been hypothesized that these beliefs of responsibility and anxiety may contribute to increased feelings of worry and anxiety and possibly compel individuals to engage in certain avoidance or safety behaviors. The systematic review, which I'm going to present today, intended to investigate these beliefs of inflated responsibility in anxiety disorders by asking two questions. First, are responsibility beliefs prevalent in anxiety disordered populations? And secondly, to what degree? To review the literature, eligible studies included peer-reviewed journal articles published in English between 2000 and 2019. The articles needed to include either an adult or child population with either a DSM-4 or DSM-5 anxiety disorder. The search strategy consisted of using two research databases to locate articles, using search terms of inflated responsibility, responsibility cognitions, anxiety disorder, and not OCD. 294 articles were generated. After screening through abstracts and research methods, 286 articles were excluded for various reasons provided on the PRISMA flowchart. This left a total of 17 articles for the current systematic review. Findings suggest inflated responsibility beliefs are present in anxious samples and may be a core maladaptive cognition present in anxiety disorders. However, findings demonstrated that these beliefs may exist on a continuum, and that inflated responsibility may be experienced to a greater degree in OCD compared to anxiety, although anxious individuals still experience an elevated level of inflated responsibility compared to healthy populations. The findings also provided no evidence as to the presence of inflated responsibility in children. Lastly, in comparing studies that examine inflated responsibility beliefs in cultures consisting of non-Western participants, there is varying evidence of the presence of inflated responsibility in anxiety disorders. The findings from this present review demonstrate that inflated responsibility is present in anxiety disorders. Although more endorsed in OCD populations, anxious individuals were more likely to endorse significant levels of inflated responsibility compared to healthy controls. This difference was likely sufficient enough to be of clinical concern. Out of 17 articles, only 3 did not find presence of inflated responsibility in anxiety disorders. 2 of these articles consisted of samples from non-Western populations, indicating that inflated responsibility may be a maladaptive cognition more prevalent in Western and Anglo-Saxon cultures compared to other populations. The final study that did not find evidence of these beliefs in anxious samples consisted of adolescent participants. There were a number of potential methodological factors that may have explained the observed lack of relationship between these beliefs and anxiety. Given these limitations and the fact that this is the only study known to date that analyzed these beliefs in anxious children, the results should be interpreted with discretion. If cognitions related to inflated responsibility are present in anxiety disorders, as this review suggests, the literature surrounding cognitive distortions must be updated in order to ensure that intervention efforts are exhaustive in nature. Additionally, clinicians working with anxious populations must recognize the possibility of these beliefs with their clients and utilize therapeutic strategies to reduce their occurrence and impact. The most common and significant limitation of these articles was that the population of interest in the majority of studies reviewed were almost always OCD, with anxious individuals serving as a control. Additionally, most of these studies only assessed the general frequency of these beliefs and did not include other essential factors, such as their severity and resulting impairment. The majority of questionnaires currently available to evaluate inflated responsibility beliefs have been designed primarily for OCD-related cognitions and may not fully capture inflated responsibility and anxiety. All but one of the articles reviewed above contained an adult population, limiting the generalizability of the findings to a specific age range. Lastly, many of the articles contained relatively small sample sizes that may have resulted in low power and low generalizability of findings.